Hello and welcome to today's Catholic Focus News Bulletin. I am Susan Bulemi, and with me on the sign language interpretation desk is Jane Mbaya. We begin our stories today with great news from the Catholic Church, whereby the Holy Father, Pope Leo XIV, has announced major diplomatic changes. Pope Leo has appointed Archbishop Bart van Megen as the new Apostolic Nuncio to Germany. Archbishop Bart van Megen was appointed as the Apostolic Nuncio to Kenya on February 15, 2019 by the late Pope Francis. He arrived in Kenya to begin his duties in May 2019, succeeding Archbishop Charles Balvo. During his 7-year tenure in Kenya, Archbishop Bart van Megen ensured that all 28 dioceses had substantive ordinaries, oversaw the creation of new dioceses, including Catholic Diocese of Wote and Kapsabet, and elevated Isiolo to a full diocese. He also consecrated 16 bishops between 2020 and 2026. This move highlights the continuing influence of Vatican diplomacy and its role in advancing the life of the Church worldwide. Archbishop Bart van Megen will now be heading to Germany to take up his new diplomatic assignment.
In 3, 2, 1, yeah.
The 12th edition of the Catholic Private Educational Institutions Association, KPEA Kenya, is now in its third day in Nairobi. The meeting, taking place at the Catholic University of Eastern Africa, has brought together principals and education directors to discuss reforms in the education sector and the importance of nurturing learners based on strong moral values and Catholic faith. Addressing the participants, Deputy Vice Chancellor Stephen Bogwangare challenged school leaders to play a greater role in addressing societal challenges through education.
On the second note, it talks about us as teachers. We are people who are educating. Our journey with the students should be the journey from Jerusalem to Emmaus, because some of them don't understand the value of education. Some of them don't know education is a lifelong commitment. And therefore, when we journey with them to Jerusalem, to Emmaus, they continue to understand the meaning. And therefore, we must inspire them like Jesus did. And that's why I said, for me, this Mass I offer for all of you, so that God may increase and continue to implement that promise of you become the true teacher, so that by the time they reach even to Emmaus, they have known the value of education, and they have become friends of learning, and they can go back and proclaim to the others the value of learning, the value of faith, the value of dependent on God, and many others. And I'm happy that this gospel has been read when we were here, because we are going to spread back to the whole of our country and even beyond. But let this impact continue. So may God make us the altar Christis, the new Christs, through whom we proclaim the word of God, and through whom we continue to open the minds and the reality of the power of learning, the power of faith, and the power of holistic growth.
And our focus still on matters concerning education. Education stakeholders are weighing in on ongoing reforms in the sector, with school heads in Western Kenya backing proposals to retain junior secondary schools under primary school management. The position comes amid growing debate on the structure and implementation of the junior secondary school system. Let's get the details of this report from Asasha Elizabeth.
The Kenya Comprehensive Schools Head Teachers Association Kekshire Western Region Chapter has endorsed recommendations by the National Education Reforms Task Force to keep junior secondary schools under the administration of primary schools rather than granting them full autonomy. Speaking during their 13th regional conference in Busia, the school heads led by Western Region Chairperson Tobias Omusale noted that maintaining the current structure would enhance the quality of education for learners transitioning into the junior secondary level.
Nataka kushukuru the task force working part kwa kusema ya kwamba shule junior school should be domiciled in primary school. Ilikuwa jambo la maana sana kwa sababu sisi ndio tuna historia ya huyu mtoto na tunaelewa, lakini imefika wakati sasa tumetengeneza huyu mtoto anang'ara tena, ndio wengine sasa wanataka.
They argue that the model ensures continuity in learning while also boosting morale among teachers serving in these institutions.
I'm very much happy. Mambo ya autonomy hiyo sisi kama Kekshire tunashukuru idara ya elimu kuonyesha kwamba hii junior school itasalia kwa primary schools and they'll be referred to as comprehensive schools.
The leaders further commended the government for recruiting additional teachers to support the effective rollout of the junior secondary school program.
Tunataka kushukuru serikali sana. Ni kwa sababu ni mara ya kwanza tumeona serikali kiajiri walimu wengi sana. More than 100,000. Ambayo haijawahi fanyika katika historia ya taifa letu hili.
Meanwhile, Teachers Service Commission Western Region Director Victoria Mauko urged head teachers to adopt inclusive leadership by involving all educators in decision-making processes to improve learning outcomes.
We need to appreciate that we are one school, we are one community. And as the head of institution, you have to ensure that the teachers in the primary, the teachers in the junior school, you are all pulling towards one direction, so that we don't have the push and pull. If we have the junior school and we have the teachers, let the teachers be the class teachers. If you require head of subjects where you have main teachers, let the heads of subjects be the teachers for junior school, so that they also feel they are appreciated and they are part of the school system.
Asasha Elizabeth reporting for the Catholic Focus, Capuchin TV.
Residents of Nyamarambe and the wider South Mugirango region in Kisii County are expressing joy after receiving bursary funds worth 315 million Kenyan shillings to support education. Kisii Governor Paul Simba Arati says the program is intended to benefit all eligible residents across the county. He further emphasized his commitment to safeguarding public resources, noting that taxpayer funds must be protected and used transparently for the benefit of citizens.
Ikiwa ni polisi, ikiwa ni Auditor General, kwa sababu sitaki wizi wote ufanyike kwa mali ya umma. Kwa sababu hao wananchi wanasumbuka, ndio wanatoa tax. Kwa hivyo we will make sure we have protected the rights of our people in the country.
Moving on, young people are being urged to register as voters as the country prepares for the next general elections in 2027. In Kakamega County, leaders are calling on both youth and elderly citizens to take part in the ongoing exercise, emphasizing the need to eliminate corrupt and ineffective leadership. Here is Linex Mungumba with a full report.
During a sports event held in Bubaka and organized by businessman Boniface Ngashira, residents were encouraged to enlist as voters to strengthen their voice in the upcoming general election.
Kura yako ndio itabadilisha maisha yako. Na ukikuwa kijana ushike kura kwa sababu tunataka elimu mzuri, tunahitaji matibabu mazuri, na sisi kama vijana pia tunahitaji kazi. Na kadi ni ya kukuja kutusaidia sisi pia kusaidia kina mama, kusaidia pia wazee.
Officials from the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission also took advantage of the gathering to mobilize young people, urging them to take responsibility in shaping the country's leadership.
Reforms ambayo tutakuwa nayo ni kadi ambayo tunaenda kutumbukiza wakati ikifika wa 2027. Tujipange, tukue na silaha. Kumaliza corruption, lazima tukue na kadi. Kumaliza ule uongozi ama impunity, lazima ukue kadi. Kwa hivyo mimi nataka kurai viongozi wote waimize vijana, waimize wamama, waimize pia wazee.
Ngashira further appealed to elder residents who have never participated in elections to register in large numbers, noting that inclusive participation is the key in driving meaningful change.
Maanake ukiangalia sehemu mingi unaweza pata mzee hajaipiga kura, amezeeka na hajai vote. So tunaomba wale ambao wanatuangalia sahi waende waregister penye huko Kenya mzima, watu wajitokeze waregister ili tuhakikishe kwamba tunapata viongozi ambao wanafaa.
At the same time, leaders accused of issuing handouts to voters were warned against the practice, with calls for a shift towards issue-based politics and sustainable development.
Tumekuwa na campaign ambayo nimekuwa na vijana tukiongelea kitu ambaye handout. Unapata uko mahali kama sasa hivi penye tuko, vijana wanangoja tu malize wasimamishe line wape 100. Hiyo sio uongozi, na barabara zinazidi kuwa mbaya. Tumeona hapa kama hii uwanja wa shule, uwanja iko mbovu. Lakini kiongozi akikuja tu hapa, vijana washasimama wanaomba wasimame kwa line wape soso ama 200 ambapo unapata ni shida. Hatuwezi pata change tukizoea mambo ya handout. Tuangalie Kenya beyond 2027. Tuko na Vision 2030. Vision 2030 haitasimama pale kama tuko na mambo ya handout. So tunataka kuomba to root out, tuhakikishe kwamba tunang'oa wale viongozi ambao wanapeana handout.
Reporting on Catholic Focus, I am Linex Mungumba.
Journalists are mourning the death of Kenya News Agency reporter Douglas Mudambo, who passed away earlier today at Webuye Referral Hospital after a short illness. His widow, Bernadette Kepkarich, together with family members, led tributes at the Webuye mortuary as fellow journalists under the leadership of Renson Mauka praised his mentorship and commitment to nurturing young reporters. Bungoma Governor, through his communications office, led by Barbara Kakai, also paid tribute, urging journalists to emulate Mudambo's professionalism, even as leaders are called upon to support the family during this difficult time.
Kwa majina naitwa Bernadette Kepkarich. Douglas Mudambo ni mume wangu. Tumeishi naye kwa muda, amekuwa rafiki na tumelea watoto pamoja. Kwa sasa nimempoteza na naomba mnisaidie kwa hii muda yenye bado namlia, mnisaidie kwa maombi ndio tukimzika alale mahali pema peponi.
Tuna huzuni mwingi sana siku ya leo kupoteza mwenzetu aliyekuwa mwandishi mahiri na ambaye alikuza vipaji vya vijana wengi waliokuwa na talanta ama kuwa waandishi wa habari. Na Douglas alikuwa mtu wa watu, jinsi wengi wamesema.
Na kwa jamii ya waandishi wa Bungoma tunasema tu pole kama ofisi ya mawasiliano ya gavana, na tunasema kwamba tutajiunga pamoja na familia na waandishi wenzetu katika kaunti ya Bungoma ili kuhakikisha kwamba tunampa Douglas mazishi ambayo ni mazuri.
Na amekuwa rafiki, amekuwa mentor na amekuwa baba in the field. Amelea vipaji, amelea vijana, amelea waandishi wa habari wenye wamekuwa nakuja attachment. na tutamkumbuka kwa hayo.
We really remember him for shaping the media fraternity hapo Mount Elgon. Amefanya kazi mzuri sana pale Mount Elgon. As alumni wa Kenya Institute of Mass Communication, tumepoteza a very important person in this field. Tunaombea roho yake iweze kulala mahali pema.
And that story right there brings us to the end of today's Catholic Focus News. And just to remind you that Pope Leo XIV has announced a major diplomatic change by appointing Archbishop Bart van Megen as the new apostolic nuncio to Germany. I am Susan Bulemi, and with me on the sign language interpretation desk has been Jane Mbaya. Until next time, stay safe, be blessed, and keep it Capuchin TV.
Keep watching Capuchin TV, your staunchly Catholic identity channel.